everybody, and welcome back to fabulous Las Vegas as we kick off a wonderful weekend of competition at RORSRPS World Finals 2. My name is Preston Vieira, and I'll be your host alongside my very special co-hosts, Dawson and Tyler Rays, who will be helping me out throughout the entire weekend. Dawson, of course, is participating in the competition, so he won't be here for the entire show. He'll be driving the Shake Me. But I'm joined in the booth by Tyler Rays, back for the second year in a row. I'm super excited to have you back, man. Thank you so much for coming again.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for having me. I mean, we are in the beautiful, like you said, the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. We have Sam Boyd Stadium. It's iconic for monster trucks, and I am so excited to be able to come here and spend the weekend with you to see some gnarly competitions, starting with the qualifying and the racing, the skills, the freestyle, the high moments, the low moments. This is going to be a really fun weekend. I am so excited to be here, and, hey, we're going to go full boogie tilt, baby. I think there's going to be a lot of upsets. I'm really excited to see this thing.
Oh, absolutely, man. I'm super excited, and excitement doesn't even begin to capture it. We have fans that have followed the season every single show. 10 shows on each tour, 3 tours to choose from. It has been an insane season, and it all comes down to this: finding our world champions. We got a fastest qualifier in qualifying, racing, 2 wheel skills, and freestyle. And this year, for the first time, we have a last chance qualifier event. 12 trucks gunning for that one final main field qualifier spot. So heading into qualifying and the weekend ahead, hey everybody, thank you for tuning in to the RORSRPS World Finals Qualifying Night event. I know you see it. The World Finals 2 t-shirts are here. There are 50 period ever in existence. Get your hands on them while you can. Only at RORSRPS.com. They're going on sale tomorrow night, racing night. Be there, check them out. I can't spoil the back design yet because there's some spoilers for some custom designs. I know we're all excited to see what these drivers come out with to the track. Be sure to stick around for racing tomorrow. Check out RORSRPS.com. Check out the World Finals 2 t-shirts. Every shirt order will come with 1 free RORSRPS sticker. These shirts are awesome, guys. There's not much else I could say, not much I could show you until tomorrow. Come back, check out the shirts live in person on me. You can check this out. This is a large, looks good. I love these shirts. They came out really great. Again, RORSRPS.com. Check out the official World Finals 2 t-shirts. So heading into qualifying and the weekend ahead, how are we feeling about the track? And are you seeing any points on the track that could be big trouble or just things to look out for these drivers?
Yeah, I think the main thing here, Preston, is that these drivers have not seen this track yet. I mean, they've walked it. They haven't driven on it, right? The trucks have not hit the dirt yet. So I think it's going to be like a little bit of a learning curve for a lot of these drivers. They're really going to have to kind of test their mettle here to see if they can get around this course. There is some tricky parts about it. There's some areas where you have to turn. You have to really keep your momentum up to be able to make the track, especially over the gap. It's a driver's course here, and I'm kind of excited. I think we're going to see a lot of upsets, but we're also going to see some predictable moments, and who knows, maybe a save or two where it's going to be crazy, but this racing course is going to be off the hook.
Absolutely, man, and there's a lot at stake, a lot on the line, and this track gives us the diversity that can really make us feel like we've crowned a true world champion, someone who really deserves it. The best of the best is going to take the top spot. Let's check out the qualifying field here, starting with DD Phantom Protector DD Live coming back, making his substitute debut at the World Finals. Josh Tonkin is Son of a Digger. Shane Lake in Grave Digger for Team Thunder. Megalodon Fire Giovanna Hayes. Jim Kohler in Megabyte is a big one to watch. Vorian Prime, Jack Merkel, Jailbird, Kalen Mowry, and Tevin Maxwell driving Team Mints. He came second on the biggest and baddest tour this season. He's gunning for a top spot tonight. We got Soldier Fortune, Black Ops, Ewan Ford, Alfredo Moya in Dragon, Trevor Goldberg in Max D representing Team Thunder. Also, we got Blue Thunder, Avenger, Dawson Reyes, of course, in Shake Me, Tricky Ricky, Rick Steffens in Blown Money, and Aiden Wegner in Gravedigger. He came third on the biggest and baddest tour, so we got some big heavy hitters that came out towards the upper echelon in these tours this season. Cynthia Gauthier and Lucas Stabilizer is here. Ed Eckert in full bore. Mark Culinary in working class. Cam McQueen is coming back in Bro Camino. JCB Digatron, that is Tristan England. We got Chris Kohler in Monster Mutt. Look at the Mutts going back to back here. We also got Preston Perez behind the wheel of Monster Mutt Rottweiler. And that is our full 23. Like I said, we're going to run back through it at the end of qualifying. We're going to have 2 rounds here. But like I said, we got Last Chance Qualifier coming up at the end to determine that final 24th seed, and it is going to be insane. And look at this. We got our first trucks hitting the track. Josh Tompkins, son of a digger, going to be on your right for this one, taking on DD Live in DD Fandom Protector.
These guys are some of the best, and we're starting right out of the gate with them. Following the season, these guys have been some of the fastest guys on the track. You can see right now they're kind of getting ready. They're kind of getting some of that dust. What people don't know a lot about Sam Boyd Stadium is back here on the dirt, there's not that thick of dirt. This is all concrete, so they're really going to have to keep their tire speed low so they avoid spinning out here in qualifying.
Absolutely, man. And DD Live, you mentioned these guys are fast. DD Live, one of those drivers as a substitute that really outperformed a lot of drivers early in the season. He came out as our first sub on the Indy Madness Tour, and he ended up taking the only sub double down of the season. And it was a pleasure to see him do that, and it's exciting to see him get a shot at the world title here. Already in trouble.
Oh, hang on. Come on, get it back, and he does.
Wow.
That's not going to be good for qualifying, obviously, on his time, but he kept it all. Look at son of a digger even getting a little sideways. Man, This track has already proven to be a little crazy as he comes across the line there. DD Phantom Protector, of course, with that 41.54 with that little bit of a bobble. Son of a digger's going to take that qualifying with a 33.20. Not bad at all, and for our first matchup here.
Yeah, and of course, good for DD Live because a DNF, no time, is definitely no help to you. At least he gets across that finish line, but like you said, not much of a time. Shane Lake in Gravedigger representing Team Thunder there. It looks like we got a little bit of a custom paint job going on. He is ready to go, man. He took the Tour Championship on the All-Star Challenge Tour this season. 203 points behind him. That is a record-setting total for season points from Shane Lake. And, man, he's excited to be here. I'm excited to have him here, and it is going to be great to see him throw down 4 racing championships behind him this season. We'll see if he can get a world championship. He's taking on Giovanna Hayes for qualifying tonight.
Man, you can feel the energy as qualifying has started here. Like we said, there's going to be a little bit of upsets. There's some weird moments. This track has proven to be a little bit challenging. As you see the drivers here starting off, you're going to see, like you said, a little bit of that space discrepancy with how close they are to each other. But this is a driver's course. They really have to keep it together here to take that top qualifying spot, sitting right now with a 33.20.
Looks like Shane Lake is a little squirrely on this track. He has been fighting a little bit of demons when he wasn't taking the championships this season. Giovanna Hayes is going to be the one over the line first here in round 1. And that's going to be a 34.13 for Megalodon and a 35.02 for Gravedigger. Not the best times we've seen tonight. Obviously better than that 41, but a second down and 2 seconds for Shane Lake and Gravedigger here in round 1.
Yeah, and like we said, this track is, these drivers haven't seen the track, right? This is their first time out there. It's a lot of them. It's the first time the truck has been on in the last few days. They're kind of warming it up a little bit, getting the tires ready. But you can see here Jim Kohler and Megabyte going to be coming out here in the right lane there, and he's been bad fast all season long.
Absolutely. 2 racing championships behind him, 1 freestyle championship, also with a racing championship behind him. Jack Merkel in Vorian Prime, a super consistent driver on the Indy Madness Tour. He's been burning it down all season, really looking for those racing championships. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 times in the semifinals and 1 championship behind him, 1 time as a runner-up to the racing champion. So we'll see what happens here tonight going qualifying. If he can throw down a nice fast time, break that top 8.
And here we go back into it here, Preston. These are like we said, these are fast passes. You really have to watch your corners here. You don't want to hit one of the fun boxes or anything like that to even roll you over or slow your time down. This is the turn that's really kind of hard here, especially when you are going back through there. You have to keep that momentum up so you get the gap, but also keep it under control to get that final St. Louis style turn.
Absolutely, and we saw it from DD Live and the DD Phantom Protector. You clip that fun box heading into that turn. It is dangerous, not only in the orange lane, but in the yellow lane as well. It's going to be a 33.57, one of the better times we've seen so far tonight from Jack Merkel. Jim Kohler a little bit behind on that one.
Yeah, I think he was just kind of, again, feeling the track out a little bit, making sure he's got all of his ducks in a row there. Still not fast enough to take out that 33.20 that we saw earlier, but Jack did a great job there, not too far behind, sitting pretty in silver medal contention so far.
Absolutely, and he did have a bit of a wider turn in the turn that we're talking about, that big struggle turn. Here comes Tevin Maxwell in Team Mintz taking on Kaylin Mowry in Jailbird. Kaylin Mowry, somebody who's, again, been really great in racing all season, one racing championship behind her, but Tevin Maxwell is no slouch either. In the final show of the season on the Biggest and Baddest Tour, he came out with a double down, taking racing and freestyle. Seemed like towards the end of the season, he was dead set on grabbing that top spot. He fell just short of it to Josh Tonkin. Tevin Maxwell looking to come out with one of the championships this weekend, and I can't wait to see if he can do it. He's one of our few trucks competing in all three competitions.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're representing an iconic name like Team Mintz. You got that checkered flag, so you got to be bad fast. He's wanting to continue that momentum going into this weekend. And it's kind of the first time that we've seen a different style chassis, different style setup, especially with that front engine. And look at that. Oh, hang on. Going to get it over there. Nicely done. Like we were saying, the coilover setup might be a little loose. I'm kind of curious to see how it pulls out here in the final jump here. He's a little behind.
Man, I think a lot of that came down to that turn that we're talking about, and that's going to be a big point all weekend. 33.47 for Kaylin Mowry, and a 34 was at 37 for Tevin Maxwell in Team Mintz.
So not a bad pass for either driver there. And I'm, hey, throw the dice. You're in Vegas, right? I mean, you got to roll them. Look at Dragon here looking a little beat up there by Alfredo Moya.
Yeah, we touched on it last season in last year's World Finals. One of the big things about qualifying that makes it such a landmark event for fans, especially the big fans that love to come to every single day of competition at the World Finals, is getting to see these trucks drive with the bodies off. I know for a little while, Monster Jam wasn't doing qualifying with the bodies off, and the fans wanted it back. We got it here on the RSRPS channel, and this season they came around and they brought out the beat up bodies from the season and were able to throw pieces on Dragon. Alfredo Moya on your right. Ewan Ford, Soldier Fortune Black Ops. He's been fast as well. Alfredo is all over Thunder Rally.
Yeah, Alfredo clipped that jersey barrier coming out there. That could have been bad. Not only could he flipped, but he might have even blown a tire. But it looks like he's all right, but he's got to be careful with that. That was really close there for Alfredo.
Looking really fast through that troublesome turn, though. Around the final turn we go.
Who's going to be pulling out ahead?
Oh, very close. Oh, and there's that blown tire.
But look at this, a 33.29 and a 33.31. Those are some of the fastest times we've seen. Hopefully Dragon, and Alfredo Moya can get that tire fixed. We talked about it earlier, blowing it in the Thunder Alley, but he just clipped that jammer car sticking out of that freestyle obstacle right at the end there.
It was dangerous for sure. You got to watch out for that one coming over the line, getting a little crooked. EJ Hayden in Blue Thunder looks like he got a little bit of
got some lightning
special
bolts.
something going on there. And of course we got Trevor Goldberg in Max D.
Yeah, man.
On your left.
This is going to be a good one. We saw Team Mintz earlier, come out a little bit, and with those coilovers kind of got a little loose, like we've been talking about, really tight turns. So he's really going to have to shape it up in Max D to throw down a fast time.
Absolutely. Trevor, not the greatest when it comes to racing all season, but anything could happen here in Vegas. Like you said, roll the dice. Gambling is a big thing here in Vegas, and you never know if the wild card could come out on top.
That's some huge air for the Max D camp over that first little the over-under portion here. You got to keep this nice and tight through this little bit of a S-curve chicane style. Oh, Max D's getting a bad bounce. Hang on here.
Yeah. Like you said, man, it is clearly showing that this is the first time these drivers are getting a shot at this track. It does make it a little exciting, and it gives some of the slower drivers a chance to make up some ground. But, you know, it's you also got to get those demons under control for the next round of 33.59 for Trevor Goldberg, 34.06 for Blue Thunder. That does it for our first few. Let's take a look at our top 8 right now. Son of a Digger with that 33.20, holding the lead. Dragon, the closest so far with that 33.29.
Soldier Fortune Black Ops with a 33.31. Of course, Jailbird, again, really close to that 33.47. You know, these times are super close, especially when you're looking at the top 6. You know, they're really all within the 33 range, and I'm guessing we're going to keep seeing those really close times as we advance on to the next qualifiers.
Oh, yeah, and here's the man right here, Dawson Rays in Shake Me, coming out on your right. Looks like he's got a little something going on. And we got Devin Barber in Avenger on your left, making his first attempt here at the World Finals qualifying track.
Well, you know, they call Dawson's Shake Me the truck of 1,000 paint schemes. I'm really excited to see what he pulled out here for the World Finals. But, of course, this is going to be a really tight race. Dawson, you know, more of a freestyler, but he can still throw down with the racing, but he's really going to have to shape it up if he wants to take out Avenger.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The reigning freestyle championship truck, Devin Barber wasn't driving last season, but he is behind the wheel looking to get another freestyle championship. He's clipping the wall a little bit there, coming down that straight, but we'll see if he can get it together here in just a minute.
Final turn coming up. Dawson looking like he might be in the lead just slightly here. I'm curious to see what this time is, but hang on. Into the freestyle area. Dawson's getting excited already. A 34.03 for Shake Me and a 34.06 for Avenger. That's probably the tightest race we have seen all day long.
Yeah, that was a close one. As you said, Dawson, more of a freestyler, giving these fans a little bit of preview of what's to come in the next couple of days. Of course, freestyle taking place this Sunday, so come back if you're going to take a little break between here and then. If you're not much of a race fan, be sure to stick around for freestyle. That is going to be exciting. And this track is not the track we're going to be seeing. We're going to have a whole separate design and layout for the freestyle competition. Coming out next, though, Rick Steffens in Blown Money, a one-time racing champion this season, taking on Aiden Wegner in Gravedigger. We saw him in Green Ghost all season. The fans love to see that thing back. We got him here again in the World Finals with it, but this time rocking some BKTs. Of course, we do have the BKT requirement here in Las Vegas. The biggest show of the year, you got to be seen rocking some BKTs.
Oh, yeah. And not only that, but he's got those coilover suspension. And like we said, we've kind of been talking about it. It's, you know, might be a little bit of an advantage or a disadvantage. We don't really know yet because the coils have been kind of bouncing all over the place. But he's going to have to really stick it down if he wants to take out big blow money here.
Absolutely. He's been fast a couple of times this season. No racing championships under his belt for Aiden Wegner. But, yep.
No, like there it is.
Like we've mentioned a couple times, actually, you know, clipping those fun boxes is going to get you into some trouble. Oh, Rick Steffens, going down.
And hang on. And Gravedigger's having some problems over the over-under portion. And he's up, and Blow Money's upside down. He's going to get a DNF for qualifying. And let's see what Gravedigger can kind of throw down. Wow, what a wild pass there from both drivers. I'm sorry to say it, but that was not a good showing for either competitor. You know that Gravedigger didn't want to throw that in that 37.59. That's way below the pack. And, of course, Blow Money not even going to get a time. So that's a tough matchup there, man. That tough break for these guys.
Yeah, that's when you're happy that there's 2 rounds of qualifying, man. I can tell you that much at the very least. Ed Eckert in Full Bore coming out next on your right. He's going to be taking on Cynthia Gauthier and Lucas Stabilizer. Full Bore and Cynthia have both had big upsets in, well, I shouldn't say upset. Cynthia was taking on Shane Lake in Gravedigger, but both of these drivers have had appearances in the final round that they took a loss. Ed Eckert in full bore lost to DD Live and DD Phantom Protector in his first substitute appearance of the season. Cynthia Gauthier, like I said, to Shane Lake in Gravedigger, really kicked off his season and his kind of a comeback or coming into his championship role.
You know, I'm just, as a monster truck nerd like, you know, you and I are, I am so excited to see full bore in Las Vegas. This is awesome, man. This is going to be a tight one. Hopefully Ed can hold it down and put out a good, oh, man. Just as I was saying that he's got to be consistent, he clipped that, and that's going to hinder his performance here, but he's just got to make sure he gets through it and, you know, makes a clean rest of this pass here.
Yeah, absolutely. And no disrespect, no shade to Cynthia at all, but that is a move that I definitely would have expected to see from her, at least from what we've seen this season. Like I said, she's been in the finals once before, but has struggled really a lot in this racing competition. We got a 35.45 for Ed and a 34.09 for Cynthia, so she comes out with a better pass here in round one. Round two, she's going to get another shot in the opposite lane, so we'll see how she can do when she comes back.
You know, in 34, it's not a bad time, you know. I mean, it's really close to the top of the pack, you know, probably sitting somewhere in like the 12 range, the 10 range, somewhere in there. But Molt Culinary, Mark is incredible with the working class. Cam McQueen bringing back Bro Camino. This is a good matchup here. I'm excited to see who can take the faster time here in qualifying round number one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Cam was no slouch when it comes to racing. You know, we did see him in the semifinals once. Every once in a while, you know what I mean? He would end up with a round one loss, but, you know, he was subbed out for 3 shows this season thanks to his sub getting subbed by becoming the points loser. So we'll see if he can, you know, make up some of that loss of points here tonight. The World Finals isn't worth any points, but, you know, moral points.
That's right. And if you noticed, Cam McQueen, when he was in that starting box in Thunder Alley area, he was shifted over towards the left here, trying to get a nice, clean right turn coming out of there. And I think that's like a little bit more of the veteran Vegas driver coming out of there.
Absolutely. I remember Jim Kohler making a big comment about that one on one of the World Finals DVDs. Definitely a strategy that you want to, that you might want to, you know, work into your routine. A 34.18 for Mark and a 33.44 for Cam McQueen on this one.
Yeah, Bro Camino, Cam McQueen throwing up, again, in that 33-second range. That's kind of where you want to be. The low 33s are really what these guys are shooting for. No one's kind of gotten close yet to Sud's 33.20, but, I mean, the night is still young.
Yeah, and next up, we got a sub versus sub race here. Tristan England, JCB Digatron, the sub qualifier for the All-Star Challenge Tour, and Monster Mutt Chris Kohler, the sub for the Biggest and Baddest Tour. Chris taking 63 points for the season. Tristan with 35. May seem like a big point difference, but Tristan had 2 shows. Chris had 3. Chris took two freestyle championships, Tristan with only 1, but both of them here in the World Finals facing off in the racing competition.
Yeah, this is going to be a good matchup here. I mean, these guys are some of the young guns in the sport. You know, not that they're new, it's just that they have been so consistent all year long. I'm really excited to see what these 2 completely different truck setups can kind of go head-to-head here and throw down that time. Again, we're still looking for somebody to knock off Son of a Digger's 33.20.
Yeah, that was a bit of a rough turn there from Chris, but like we've mentioned a few times, these drivers are feeling these trucks and the track out. Tristan clipping the wall big time.
Yeah, that is going to slow him down hard right there, man. That's a tough break for Tristan.
Yeah, man, that's a 35.13 for Digatron and a 34.13 for Chris, as he gives us a little bit of 2-wheel skills. He's not in the 2-wheel skills competition, so he has to throw that in for the fans. And you love seeing these drivers, whether it's a roll, a save, you know, a little bit of a move like that. You love seeing these drivers give the fans a little extra than what they paid for their ticket.
And look at this. We have Preston in Monster Mutt Rottweiler. This is going to be a fun one. And Preston's been, again, he's a consistent driver. He knows kind of how his truck reacts and what he needs to do representing Monster Mutt Rottweiler here in the right lane.
Yeah, this season he has struggled a bit, especially in the racing competition, but it's been a little here and there in freestyle as well. But coming here into the World Finals, like you said, he knows just what he needs to do. He's had a whole season behind the wheel of this truck. I would love to see him make a big improvement and surprise a lot of people here in Las Vegas.
Let's see what Preston can do. Starting off strong here. A nice, okay, see, that is nice. He kind of brake checked a little bit. He didn't want to overshoot that ramp too much. He kind of wanted to ride that momentum out. That was a good move there from Preston. Again, trying to go for that 33.20 that we saw from Sud. Let's see if he can do it as he gets into the straight right here. That's a tough corner into this final one here. I don't know, Preston. Let's see.
The line, let's see the time for Preston Perez and Monster Mutt Rottweiler. Pretty solid pass, I would say, a 34.52. Definitely not one of the worst ones we've seen tonight. A solid pass here to close out round one. We're going to get a look at our overall leaderboard so far for the night, starting out with our top 8. Of course, Josh Tompkins, son of a digger, holding the lead with that 33.20. Dragon 33.29. Ewan Ford with the 33.31. Bro Camino 33.44, and Kalen Mowry closing out the top 5 with 33.47. A lot of, like you said, close times here in the early bracket.
Yeah, and I think where you're going to see a lot of more. I mean, look at these close times here. Megabyte, Blue Thunder, Avenger, Lucas Stabilizer. Look at those 34.06, 34.05, 34.09. I mean, those are tight times there from those from 9 through 12. Again, these racers are super close. I mean, even when you get into the final kind of bracket here, you can see like the final even through 17 through 22. They're really they are behind a little bit, but a lot of them was just from bobbles. It wasn't because they were slow racing. It's just they might have tagged a wall or they might have rolled over. So if they can kind of fix those, they're going to be really seeing a nice advancement here going into qualifying for round number 2.
Absolutely, and kicking off round number 2, we're going to go backwards the way we just saw him come, and they're switching lanes. So this time, we're going to see Preston Perez kick us off here in the orange lane where he was in the yellow lane last time. Pretty solid pass, it's fresh in our minds. We'll see if he can keep that up here in the next round and maybe improve a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Preston's, he in his mind, he's like, okay, I just came out here. The truck got just a second to cool off. I'm ready. I'm already strapped in. It is a different look because, like you said, we are in an opposite lane. But as you can see, Preston even scooched over there in the left side of it. He wants a really nice turn. As you can see, he's keeping up that momentum. He's got to really sharpen his corners here. And he's got one more chance, and I'm excited to see if he can pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely. And here in the yellow lane, something I noticed early on in this qualifying pass, he did already tighten up in that little, I don't even know what to call it, that super tight turn to kick off the turnaround here and heading back towards the over-under. Already a lot tighter than he was in the orange lane. Coming to the line, we'll see what he has for a time. 34.10, so he does improve, getting really close to that 34 flat.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're expecting, right? We're expecting these guys to come out and these drivers to improve. Obviously, they want to improve their time, but I'm going to see that it's going to start to happen naturally because they're getting used to the track, they're getting used to the dirt. So we're going to start seeing a little bit of faster times, which makes me excited once we get to the lower half and to see if someone can knock off Son of a Digger. But Chris Kohler, Tristan England, these guys kind of had a little bit of a bobble in the last round. So now that we're switching lanes, I'm excited to see what they can pull off here with a new look on this track.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we had Tristan England clipping the wall. Chris struggling a little bit, trying to get that truck turned around to go back over the over section. We'll see heading, like you said, into this opposite lane, if starting out with the over section for Chris might be what he wants to do in the racing competition. Tristan, we'll see if he can get up to the final round again. We know he did really well in World Finals 23 in real life, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I think, there's one thing to say for Chris's truck, especially with those CRC chassis, they're a little heavy. They're they're a lot heavier than in like a CRD chassis. So he's really wanted to keep that momentum going. So the fact that he got to knock out that over-under right off the bat, I think it's going to help him with improving his time.
Absolutely. That straight is definitely a factor heading back towards the finish line, even though the lanes are even. Over the line we go. Let's look at the times here. 33.48 for Chris Kohler in Monster Mud, 34.13 for JCB Digatron.
Like we're saying, coming out, switching lanes is, for me, I always felt more confident, especially on other videos and leagues. You switch lanes, you've been out there, you want to improve, you can do better, and these guys right here, again, they're switching lanes here. Mark in the working class, this guy's a veteran. He's been around for a very long time. He knows how to do it. He knows how to improve his time, and you can even see here he's making adjustments, kind of going to the left side of the starting box. But can McQueen make no mistake? Bro Camino, he wants to take that lead away from Son of a Digger. He would love nothing more than be the fastest qualifier here for World Finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of these drivers, it's a pretty fair matchup in the racing competition, at least from what we've seen this season. Both of these drivers have had a few round one eliminations. Both of them have seen the semifinals. Neither one of them with a racing championship from the season. We'll see if this could be the event that they can make it happen. Mark Culinary super tight around that first turn. Same for Cam McQueen, though.
Yeah, if they're just racing the clock, right? They're not racing each other yet, and they're both having really clean passes. I was just about to say they're having really clean passes, and Mark had that bobble. He's going to have to make it over the over-under here as Bro Camino is making his final turn across the checker. Mark, give it the 1-2 and absolutely gaps the over-under. That was awesome. Of course, he's not going to improve his time, but he had a decent one the round number one, so I don't think it's going to hinder him too much. But I'm excited to see Bro Camino with a 33.57. Of course, working class Mark Culinary with a 41.16.
Yeah, man, that's unfortunate. But like you said perfectly, he did have a pretty decent pass in round one that's going to fare well with the qualifying placements. Cynthia Gauthier and Lucas Stabilize are going to come out next. She had a pretty solid pass in round one. Ed Eckert in full bore with the mistake from round one in the opposite lane. Let's see if he can knock that out of the park a little bit and come back from a small mistake that did, like you said, have a bit of an effect on his time, and without that mistake he could have a really solid pass.
Yeah, and because he had that mistake in round number one, round number two pass is so crucial. He has to lay down a clean pass here. Cynthia had a pretty decent one. She's got some things to work on. I'm excited to see if they can improve their times as they come screaming down here. Look at Ed Eckert, absolutely big aired over the gap there on the over-under, but Cynthia has been really consistent so far in this pass, keeping nice and clean.
Did you see that turn from Ed? Cynthia with a big mistake there.
Yeah.
But that turn from Ed, clipping the turning obstacle, hiking that front tire up in the air, able to lose traction enough but keep the truck controlled to get it down and continue with his pass. That was, I don't know if it was luck or if that was skill, but either way, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a really clean. I mean, he just kept the throttle down, and look at that, 33-37.
Wow.
Clean, very nice pass from Ed and Lucas. And Cynthia just had that little bit of a bobble there, but like we said, she had a pretty decent round number one pass, not too bad, but full bore absolutely demolished round number two, and that was a great comeback for Ed.
Yeah, and that's what you love to see, man. I mean, I as long as these drivers can come back from a poorer pass in the first round, it's always an improvement. But to see him come back so hard and absolutely blow, a lot of the competition out of the water with that time, that was awesome. Rick Steffens in Blown Money coming out. He's going to be on your right this time, taking on, again, Aiden Wegner in Gravedigger. Both of these drivers rolling the truck in round one. Aiden was the only one able to finish the pass.
Yeah, I was going to say, these guys had a terrible round number one pass. I mean, it just wasn't good. I mean, they just ran into a lot of mistakes. So these guys are running for the money right now. They have to lay down clean passes if they want a chance at a decent qualifying start.
Yep, and there's some more big air from another driver going over the over section, Aiden Wegner. And Rick Steffens looking quick early on, but he's having a similar mistake to Cynthia Gauthier on both sides. Both of these drivers really not liking this track, it seems.
Yeah, and you can tell, you know, the Gravedigger, especially with those coilovers, it's very stiff. He's got to really start throwing that corner, but Blown Money had a nice turn there, but so did Gravedigger. Hang on. They're definitely going to improve. No one rolled over, right? So yeah. Gravedigger with a 34.22 and then Blown Money with a 34 flat. Definitely improved. That's going to be, you know, they should be happy with that.
Yeah, decent times for sure heading out of round 2. Improvements, like you said, but again, and let me not talk too bad about them. You know, those are not bad times by any means, as we mentioned for a lot of the times tonight. But it's clear that those two drivers are not really feeling this track out tonight. Maybe tomorrow they can have better performance. Somebody who had pretty solid performance, Dawson Rays in Shake Me on the left. He's going to be taking on Devin Barber in Avenger, and they weren't too far off. I believe this was the race that had only 0.03 of a second between the two of them.
Yeah, that was a super tight round number 1. Again, they should be very happy with their performance. This is just to kind of see if they can improve on it, maybe even knock out Son of a Digger's 33.20. But these guys just keep down a clean pass, get this truck back to the pits, and get ready for day number 2. Oh, man, I was just about to say, and he clips it. He clips that Jersey barrier, but you know, he's keeping it together. Hopefully we keep all the tires on the beads as we continue on this qualifying pass. And Shake Me kind of taking his grandma out to lunch. What are you doing, brother? Kind of getting a little wide there. You got to tighten it up if you're going to knock out Avenger here.
Yeah, Avenger with that super clean first turn. Looks like Avenger has the lead this time around that final turn, but it's still going to be close. Dawson, a little bit of a struggle here in the opposite lane. A 34.36, not too bad compared to his last time, but definitely not an improvement. 33.51 for Devin Barber in Avenger, an improvement on his past time.
Yeah, definitely not bad at all. Again, Dawson kind of had a really clean round number 1, so not bad at all as we get into our round 2 top 8.
Yep, Ed Eckert leading this time, not beating, as you mentioned, Son of a Digger's 33.20, but a solid number 1 spot for the round. Avenger in that number 3 spot that we just saw. Preston Perez down there with a 34.10. And then, you know, we got JCB Digatron 34.13. Aiden Wegner and Gravedigger, an improvement on the last round, 34.22. But we'll see how the rest of the times shake out as we continue up through our little lineup here for the qualifying competition. Trevor Goldberg in Max D on your right, going to be taking on EJ Hayden in Blue Thunder. And you know, I didn't mention it last round, but it does look like Max D does have a little something planned as well. I'm seeing blue beads on that Max D truck, so maybe we're in store for a nice little custom here from Team Thunder's Max D.
Yeah, this is super exciting. You know, qualifying is always fun because you get to see the mechanics of the truck. But tomorrow, when we see the debut of some of these awesome World Finals bodies, that's when I start to get really excited.
Absolutely, man. That's one of the best things for me personally about the World Finals. I love how the drivers really treat it as a special event, and they can bring out some new stuff here and there. And this time, looks like we got a Max D custom scheme, and Blue Thunder again with something special in store with those lightning bolts and 2 different colored wheels on each side. So we'll see what happens here. Already to the finish line though. Trevor Goldberg in Max D with the lead. He's all over the place though.
Oh, he's got to get on the binders. A 33.59 for Max D, and Blue Thunder with a 34.39. Max D got a little sideways there. Trevor kind of did a good job though, throttling out of it, keeping that truck on all fours.
Absolutely. That is a dangerous placement for that tanker that we got up there. But, I mean, that is the layout for the 2-wheel skills, you know, a new obstacle for these drivers to hit. We do have an opportunity to change it out overnight, but I'm kind of liking the little bit of danger that it's adding to the finish line. You know, you've got to come at that jump straight. And, you know, in a lot of events, especially in the real world, you know, you do have to hit that jump straight on or you will get a penalty. Here in RORSRPS, the penalty may just have to be a rollover.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have, like you said, you have to hit these jumps straight. And there's a lot of different turns. There's a lot of different, approaches that you can do. You really just got to make sure you run your pass, keep the tires on the ground, and just get that top spot again. Son of a Digger still holding out with the 33-20, but it's anybody's ball game as we roll down here between Black Ops and Dragon.
Yeah, Alfredo Moya on your left. Much cleaner through Thunder Alley this time around. We'll see if he can keep all 4 tires inflated as we head across the finish line in just a second. Ooh, yeah, a big wide turn for Ewan Ford.
I was just about to say, Ewan just took it way too wide there. He's got to kind of keep up this matchup when he goes over to the over-under portion. And Dragon's team in the back threw on a fresh tire, in between rounds to get him back out here, and he's making up for it in this qualifying pass.
Absolutely. That felt lightning fast. Maybe it's just the comparison between him and Black Ops this time. But no, a 33.31. Not improving on his last pass of a 33.29, but still a great time and a consistent time, which is arguably more important than just having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be consistent on this track because it's so unpredictable. You have to make sure that you are taking every precaution to make sure that you're coming out on top. Of course, Team Mentz, Tevin Maxwell taking on the Kalen Mowry in the Jailbird here. Jailbird had a nice pass in round number 1. Nothing to be ashamed of as they switch lanes here. Of course, Team Mentz rocking an iconic name. You got to make sure that you are ready to rock and roll. And the thing that you got to remember about his truck is, like I said, it's been very fast. It's that front engine, conventional style, left-hand drive. This is a truck to kind of it's a racing truck. It's what it's built for. So he's got to lay down the power here, and I'm kind of excited now that he's starting with the over/under right off the bat. It might give him the advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Real squirrely down Thunder Alley it seemed though, but. I mean, it's not necessarily blowing him out of the water on Kaylin Mowry's end. She did clip the Jersey barrier through Thunder Alley. She does seem to be really fast on this track, though. Again, we're not going to know just how ahead she may be until this final straight right here, but she's having a good pass again.
Yeah, again, they're not racing each other right now, and it feels that way. They're racing the time. And they're really right now with round 2, they're racing their first time.
And that's a 33.36. I believe she does improve. Jailbird, again, with a nice, clean pass. Tevin Maxwell. I missed the time. Did you get it on that one?
Yeah, I think it was a 34-17 or something very close. I think, honestly, his round number 1 pass was a lot faster. He overshot that over-under right off the bat, and I think that kind of hindered him.
Speaking of over-driving is something, especially on a track like this, that can take you out. You try to drive a little harder, especially if you make a mistake. You try to come back from it. Over-driving the truck can knock you out of the race, whether it be a rollover. I mean, like you said yourself, we are in qualifying, but thinking ahead into tomorrow, over-driving the truck on a track like this can almost do the opposite of help you. You can throw the truck into a spin out in the turn, overshoot the jump, which is going to slow you down into that final straight. A lot of things can work against you trying to make up for something.
You're absolutely right. Now, these two guys, they have to really step up their game. I want to see Jim. He didn't have the fastest time last round. He wants to improve, and that was a really clean turn right there. This is going to be a close one.
Absolutely. He's looking fast this time around. Jack Merkel, the faster between the two last round, and he's looking pretty consistent. It looks like he wants to lock down a top 8 spot, but I don't know. Coming to the line, it's very close. Look at this. Another really close race here on this track. 33.51 for Jim Kohler in Megabyte, and a 33.52 for Jack Merkel in Vorian Prime. Wow.
Oh, man, that was a tight race right there. And, they were gunning for it. That's just a precursor to what we're going to see tomorrow, Preston. A lot of close races. Might have to go to the replays to call some of these. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, man, this is going to be an insane night of competition, to say the least. Shane Lake in Gravedigger coming out for his second round. Giovanna Hayes in Megalodon Fire on your right. Now, something that I didn't mention last round, I was a little stuck on Shane Lake. Giovanna Hayes, not only a two-time racing champion this season, not only a one-time freestyle champion, with one of those racing and freestyle championships being a double down, but last season we watched her take the racing championship, so we know she's capable behind the wheel of this Megalodon Fire truck. Can she lock it down for a second year in a row is the question.
Time will tell, and literally this time will tell. Let's see what she can throw down in her qualifying pass as she starts in the right lane, overshooting the over-under just by a little bit here, but she's got to make it back up as the race progresses here.
Absolutely. Like we mentioned earlier, overshooting can set you up poor for that final straightaway, or the first straightaway, I guess, for Giovanna Hayes. A little bit of an awkward rebound. You're going to have to get on those. It gets you on the brakes a little bit later. You have to overcorrect the truck sometimes, man. It's a sketchy situation. A 33.36 for Gravedigger Shane Lake. 34.20 for Giovanna Hayes this time around. I don't think she improved from her last pass, unfortunately. Shane Lake, though, absolutely did.
Look at Shane. He's having some fun here after round number 2, giving a little extra fanfare for all of everybody in attendance, and especially watching at home on YouTube. Man, this is such a fun time out here. Now, here we go. Let's see if Son of a Digger here can improve on his 33.20 with Josh Tonkin and DD Live and the DD Phantom Protector. He also had a pretty decent pass, but he's got to improve. It's coming down to this. I mean, I think Son of a Digger still holds the lead, if I'm correct. So this is kind of just playing for house money, but let's see if he can improve on it, or at least get close to his time.
Yeah, and it's kind of wild if you think about it. He's held the top spot all night long. He came out first alongside DD Phantom Protector, of course, but he came out first for the night, and he's holding the lead this long. He may just have this one in the bag unless DD Phantom Protector, who is fast, we've seen him be fast, take racing championships before, he may be able to do it, but here tonight, it's looking like our number 2 spot last year is going to come out number 1 in the qualifying competition.
Oh, you got to keep it together, and Son of a Digger had a little bit of a bobble. Let's see if they can get to... Oh, look at the Phantom Protector kind of getting a little sideways there in the air, but in the final turn, let's see what the times are going to tell us.
It is going to be DD Live hitting the ground first, coming across the line first, but that's a 34.01 for DD and a 34.13, for Josh Tonkin in Son of a Digger. Doesn't top his last time, but does come out on top. He is leading the charge for qualifying times. He is our fastest qualifier, which means he'll be getting a fastest qualifier medal. That is a 33.20 for him. Alfredo Moya and Dragon 33.29. Look at his top 8, man. A beautiful array of trucks here. Jailbird down there in 5th with a 33.36. Bro Camino down there as well in 7th. This is looking pretty tight here. And speaking of tight, look how close these times are here from 9 to 16.
And it just goes to show you, Preston, that no matter where you place, it just takes one mistake and you're out of the race. I mean, Son of a Digger had such a clean 33.20 when he came out, and then in the round number 2, he was almost a second slower. So it just goes to show that if you make a mistake, you're going to lose. You have to be almost perfect, as you see the official times of the last 8 here. And unfortunately, you're going to see some really low times, some higher times, and who knows, the last chance qualifier could play into something big.
Absolutely. And speaking of last chance qualifier, it is time to crown our final World Finals main field spot. Only one will take it all. Let's get a look at our lineup. Earthshaker, Tailgater, Batman, Del Scorcho, Gearhead, El Toro Loco fighting for a top spot. Terminal Velocity, John Zimmer Jr. Medusa, driving Medusa, of course. Awakened, still back once again. Skeledragon looking to make it back up into the main field for the second World Finals in a row. War Wizard is going to get a shot, as well as Pablo Huffaker coming back in Junkyard Dog. We also have their points up on the screen right now. We have some good ones up there from this season. Earthshaker and Tailgater, the only ones on there that got repeat shows. Making his way back into the booth right now for the first time this season, it's Dawson Rays. driver of Shake Me put down some fast passes tonight in qualifying, ended up 15th. We'll see how he continues throughout the night and how he likes the show. How you feeling about your performance tonight, man? Absolutely. Tim Jones and Tailgater. These guys are on their own bracket right now. This is just a qualifying pass, trying to figure out where these drivers are going to match up in the actual bracket coming up in the next quote-unquote round, the first round of competition. So this doesn't really matter. Whoa, ooh. Tim Jones in trouble. You know, you still want to get a fast time. Every pass that you make as a last chance qualifier competitor will be eligible for an official qualifying time. It will take the fastest that you run. Tyler, how you liking this race so far, man?
So far, it's, you know, it's a little rocky. These guys, again, it's the first time they've seen the track. They have to make sure they're kind of calibrating it right and getting it everywhere. But let me tell you, Tim is all over the place. I don't think this is going to be one of the faster times as Joe comes across the line first. You know, of course, Son of a Digger is still holding out with that 33.10. Look, Tailgater with a 34. 39 and a 34.27 for Earthshaker. Excuse me when I said Son of a Digger actually is with a 33.20. So again, these guys are, you know, they're getting used to it. I think it's just Tim overdrove the truck on that one. He tagged a couple walls. So I don't know. Let's see what happens here as it shakes out.
Yeah, Frank Kreml Del Scorcho making his way onto the track, taking on John Seesock and Batman. What a retro matchup here for this qualifying pass. Frank had an absolutely insane run in his single show appearance, made it up to the W final round in the racing competition, taking on the man himself, Dawson Rays in Mount Pleasant. Dawson ended up taking the win. How do you feel Frank can do here on this type of a track with this truck? Absolutely. 2 World Racing Championships behind John Seesock, man. And Frank Kreml with this Del Scorcho truck looked good in the racing competition, just was unable to pull off the win in Mount Pleasant. Look at that nice clean turn from both of these drivers.
Again, it's consistency and it's smoothness, and any mistakes is going to end up big. And you can see there a couple bobbles. Oh, comes up a little short, Frank. That's gonna hinder his time a little bit, but he's comes out unscathed. But look at this 2 wheels!
Oh my goodness!
Oh man! Just as I was saying, he recovered. He ended up flipping over when the DNF is not at all where Frank wanted to be. As Batman's John Seesock with a 34.52 times in, and a pretty good race from Batman there. But man, tough break for Frank.
Yeah, not bad from John Seesock, as you mentioned. One of the only 2 DNFs that we've had so far here in the competition. Armando Castro making his way out to the track, taking on Mike Welch in Gearhead, who made his performance debut. This truck bringing it around to the tour and the channel for the first time. Did really well, earned 20 points for the night in Tampa, Florida, taking on the All-Star Challenge Tour, which is a heavy hitter lineup. And he also had to battle it out against one of our subs, the sub for the All-Star Challenge Tour, to make it as a main field qualifier. Tonight, we're looking to find our final main field qualifier. Could be any one of them, including one of these 2 in this pass here.
Oh man, Mike absolutely sent it. I thought he was going to overshoot it a little bit farther, but he recovered that nicely. And Dawson, you know, since you've been on the track before, you know, what's kind of going through your mind as you get through more of the technical spots of this race?
That is a fast time from Armando Castro, a 33.24. That's only 0.04 off from our fastest qualifier, Josh Tonkin. That would take the second place spot if Armando were to get into the main field qualifying spot. Wow. Coming out next, Medusa driving. Medusa, of course, looking to return to the World Finals main field. I'm very curious if she can lock that one down. She was on fire in racing in season 1 this season. I believe she made it back up to the second round in her single appearance on the channel. John Zimmer Jr. again coming back as a substitute yet again here in season 2. Looking for a World Finals qualification. He has the points to get into the last chance qualifier. This is a whole new beast getting into this competition. Dawson, who do you think has a better chance at this one, man? These two are having great passes. Again, the winner, quote unquote, is not necessarily advancing on to the next round. They both are. They're both just finding their seed in the bracket, but they are both laying down some great passes there. A 33-24 for Medusa as well, and a 34-23 for John Zimmer Jr. in terminal velocity. Nice passes.
Very fast for Medusa. I mean, she's almost right on the money where they want to be for being in the main field with the main qualifiers here. And that's what we're going to be seeing. That's what we have been seeing all day is fast times and faster moves. Trenton Ray, the Godfather, is here in Awakened. Oh, man, I just love seeing this old piece come out of the track on the left-hand side of your screen.
Absolutely, Cody Saucier and Skella Dragon. Excuse me, we got two Dragon trucks competing here this weekend. Skella Dragon fighting again for that main field spot. He was a sub-qualifier in the World Finals last season. We know he has what it takes to get it done and to see a shot at the World Championship. But he has a whole new group of a smaller group, but a whole new group of trucks to battle it out against. We're going green. Who's going to come out on top here in qualifying?
This is unique, man. Going to Trenton's truck. This is an old school truck. It's a single coils. It's got a front engine, and he sits in the middle. This truck is very unique, and it works. But Cody Saucier in Skella Dragon is really going to have his work come out for him because that's a brand new piece almost, and it's looking really clean as we get into this final turn here. Both drivers looking to turn in some nice passes.
Over the line, it is going to be Cody Saucier in Skella Dragon with the lead there, but a 33-31 is going to look nice for him. A 34-12, not too bad for Trenton, the fellow T.Ray member. Dawson, how we feeling about your boy? MJ Noah in War Wizard making his way to the track, had an appearance on the Indy Madness Tour in Arizona. Pablo Huffaker in Junkyard Dog. That guy, man, not only legendary name, Pablo Huffaker, but on this channel, the Junkyard Dog truck has been brought around twice, both times as a substitute. In season 1, he made it up into the final round of racing, giving Medusa her first racing championship, which proved to be her dominating competition. She absolutely slayed racing in every aspect last season. This season, as a substitute, Pablo makes it back up into the final round, takes a loss to Shane Lake in Gravedigger. 2 times in the finals. I'm really hoping to see him make it stick, maybe break that curse here tonight.
That's exactly what I was going to say, man. A lot of these guys are overshooting it a little bit, and when you do that, it leaves you less time to recover. And, he clips the turning dirt mound there. but gets the power back down and still going to be probably turning in a decent time, but Pablo has just waxed the floor with him. That is going to be a nice time there for the Junkyard Dog with a 33.22. Oh, and he's going to dump it for the fans. Got a little twisted up. The 33.22 from Junkyard Dog is right on the money, only 0.2 of a second away from the fastest qualifier from the main field, son of a digger.
Absolutely. Let's get a look here at our official Last Chance Qualifier bracket. Junkyard Dog taking the #1 spot, getting that advancement into round 2 automatically. Earthshaker is going to rematch against Tailgater. Gearhead is going to take on Del Scorcho. Terminal Velocity will face off against Batman. And Awakened is going to be taking on War Wizard to close out the first round. We got some heavy hitters heading into round 2. But we know if you're making it out of round 1, for the most part, you have a pretty decent shot at that round 2 field. And you have just that slight bit of an edge on the round 2 competition, getting that extra round 1 pass in before round 2 even hits the track. What are we thinking, guys? Tyler?
And man, you know, all these guys have been super fast. My mind is, as long as you can stay consistent, you know, there's big players. Armando had a nice time. You know, Junkyard Dog had a nice time with Paulo behind the wheel. You know, but when it comes to these two guys, Joe is a great driver. Tim is incredible, but Tim had, I'm just going to say it, he had a really rocky qualifying pass, you know, just moments ago. So he's going to have to make some adjustments here. He's got to stay off the walls, and he's got to make a clean pass.
How you feeling, Dawson? Absolutely. And if you notice, they're on the same turns or on the same lane that they were in their qualifying pass. So Tim Jones does get a chance to improve and, you know, come out a little cleaner this time. A really solid turn there from Tim, but a rocky landing.
Yeah, he bobbled that chicane area now. He's going to have to make get some speed to clear it. Barely does. Joe is really cooking right now. Final turn.
Looking good into the line. It is all Joe Uri, about a truck length there, 35.05. Both of these drivers with 35s this time. Looks like neither one of them really had the perfect run, but a win is a win. Joe Uri on to round 2. Hopefully he can clean it up to take on Pablo Huffaker with that fastest time that we've seen from this field so far tonight. Coming out next, Frank Krimmel in Del Scorcho taking on Mike Welch in Gearhead. You know, Mike has been pretty outspoken about his discontent, let's say, for the action that you get at a Monster Jam show. I'm sure he wants to bring his signature style to the main field and show out for the fans here in Las Vegas. How you think he's going to do here in this round, Dawson? Absolutely staged, ready to go. We are green. We'll find out who can come out on top. This is for all the marbles, or at least a couple of them heading into the next round. Who can take it to the line?
Yeah, he knew his line and he hit it perfectly. Frank Krimmel, but he in Del Scorcho is doing a good job. This is going to be another tie race. Again, it comes down to this final turn. Who can sling it around and get across the line?
Oh, looks like it's going to be Mike Welch in Gearhead, but a much cleaner turn this time from Del Scorcho, a 34.18 for Mike Welch and a 34.32 for Frank Krimmel.
Man, Mike Welch advancing was not on my bingo card. Let me tell you right now, he is absolutely on kill right now. He's going to be one to watch as this last chance qualifier bracket progresses here. Look at this on the left hand of your screen. John Zimmer Jr., Little John in Terminal Velocity, taking on the two-time champ of John Seesock in Batman. Of course, we gotta love seeing Batman back into the main stage here, and seeing John come down. I mean, he is an incredible driver, and racing is his forte. That's where his championships have come from, and you know he wants to add another one to his belt, another notch, if you will. But he's got to go through the young gun, like Dawson said. And let me tell you something: Little John here is not afraid to put this truck into shambles to win.
Absolutely, and this season on the Indy Madness Tour, John actually had a really great performance in the racing competition, getting up into the semifinals. I honestly thought he was going to take it farther, but I believe he clipped a turning obstacle and ended up saving the truck but losing the race. Hopefully he can keep things under control here tonight. There's a lot of obstacles. He's already struggling just a bit coming over that roller. Yeah, I'd love to see that terminal velocity truck in the main field, but this time it's not going to happen. Another year goes by without him. A 33-39 for John Csock in Batman. Again, not to take away from it at all, I don't mean this negatively, but a pretty average time for this track, which means he's solid. He's in competition with the main field. If he can take it to the final round, keep the consistency, as we keep bringing up, if he keeps that consistency up, he may just be able to lock it down. MJ Noah back with War Wizard, this time taking on the T.Ray boy, Trenton Ray.
Trenton, like we said earlier, man, he's excited to be here. He is a racer at heart. Yeah, freestyle, he's really good at it. Don't get me wrong. He's a well-rounded driver. Racing is where he shines, and I think he's really gonna have to turn it on, especially cranking it up to 11 when he's going up against somebody like War Wizard, which had a great qualifying pass. So this is going to be intense for the Godfather. Let's see what Trent could do here against War Wizard as we get lined up, and we're going green.
Oh, MJ Noah clipping the K-rail on the way out. That may give Trenton the early edge here, but we got a long race ahead of us, and anything could happen on this track.
War Wizard seemed to recover pretty nicely from that bobble, and Trent takes that turn way too wide. But they're almost even. This track, again, it gives you the illusion that one's behind more than the other, but hang on. We're going to this close race.
Oh,
War Wizard.
MJ Noah going over. Does take the win, though, barely by 0.02 of a second there. MJ Noah and War Wizard going for a ride, but on to the next round.
Wow. That is tough. Hopefully that truck's all right to continue. That was a wild run there. Wow.
Absolutely. Let's get a look at this bracket, though. Junkyard Dog going to be taking on Earthshaker. Skeledragon will face off against Gearhead. I'm looking forward to that race. That looks very interesting. El Toro Loco and Batman. Medusa is going to close out round 2 facing off against War Wizard. Any races you guys are feeling strongly about?
Let me tell you, the Junkyard Dog and Earthshaker race we're about to witness, I think is going to be a good one. Pablo was on kill during qualifying and during round 1, during his qualifying pass. So he's going to be one to watch out for me.
How about you, Dawson? Absolutely. Pablo, like I said, a really strong racer. You see that firsthand with that qualifying pass. You see that firsthand with the performances that he's had this season and last season as a sub, just unable to pull off that win. Joe Uri and Earthshaker, a little bit rough for his racing record this season, but he's only had two shows to give it a shot. He took his freestyle championship, which earned him a second show and another shot at a racing title, but was unable to pull it off. When you only have 2 shows, you don't have a full season like the rest of the main field drivers. It's hard to really break out as a racing driver. We'll see what he can do tonight, getting another shot at a full bracket. Look at the leap from Pablo.
What I just noticed here, Dawson, and if you look, I didn't even notice, but Pablo's got his front tires on backwards. during this race. So I'm not sure if that's going to, maybe add a little bit to his cornering. I don't know. But, I mean, it's obviously not hurting him because he's throwing down a really quick pass here.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, man, that was a little rough there from Joe Urey, but I mean, you could see where his head at. He was deep in the race, big time. Tried to get a nice, super tight, clean turn, just ended up clipping that turning obstacle, and that ended up taking him out. And that's what we keep seeing with this track. It really is the small things that can take you out of a really good, solid pass. Mike Welch in Gearhead coming out. He's going to be on your right, taking on Cody Saucier in Skeledragon. And this is the race that I was really looking forward to heading into this round. Skeledragon, like I said, we saw him in Season 1 take the first substitute racing championship ever on the channel. Gearhead didn't take a racing championship, but did see the semifinals. He has potential. I'm really undecided, to be honest, with this race.
Well, we've been saying it all night, when it comes to, oh, hold on, Mike Welch again. I'm sorry, it just when Dawson mentioned it last time he came out, he did hug that jersey barrier in Thunder Alley, and he just did it again. It's given him a little bit of advantage, but like we've been talking about, it's just one mistake. If you make one minor mistake, it can prove to be fatal, and you're going to the trailers and not to the next round.
Yep, Mike Welch might just have that right there with that landing crooked on that landing ramp. That might have kicked him off to the side, and it looks like it did to the line. A very close one. But it's going to be Cody Saucier in Skeledragon with that 34.40, 0.07 of a second between the two.
0.7 of a second. That is close, Dawson. I mean, you see those races all the time, and that, I mean, it might not have looked too close when he looked at the time, but man, that was a good one.
Absolutely.
You can see how John Seesock is that veteranness is coming out here. You're going to see him. He's staging towards the left side of that starting box, and that's going to give him a little bit, of an edge getting in that right turn there for that long straight. And Armando Castro taking a more conventional approach in the middle here to go right for that over-under jump. This is going to be another clean race. Let's see what the young gun has against the old veteran here.
Yeah, he's looking very squirrely. One of those things, I don't know if it really has much to do with this race, but something that you got to watch out for is coming out of Thunder Alley and through that long straightaway there, getting into the turn. And a lot could be said.
Wow.
Ooh, Armando.
El Toro Loco. Yeah. Yeah, not to cut you off, Preston, but that last turn from Armando sealed the deal. I mean, he, like Dawson was saying, he was all over the place, and he swung it in on that last go-around and was able to slingshot into the win. Look at old War Wizard with MJ Noah, no body. They said, take it off. I can't see anything. We're going to go Rage in the Cage style for War Wizard, and then Medusa looking pretty as ever. She's still wanting to advance here, but this is going to be another close race, but MJ Noah's got to make sure he keeps this truck on all four tires.
Absolutely, man. And anywhere on this track, you can get into some trouble. Medusa, as you said, pretty as ever. This truck is the Season 1 Throwback Tour champion. She and her racing prowess in that season really took the cake. She was unable to get a World Racing Championship, but that doesn't matter. The record still stands as the most racing points ever won in a season. She's killing it so far tonight. That's another thing. You know, a lot of speed through that undersection, through the oversection. A lot of speed is going to get you put out wide towards the wall, really cut down on your braking area and your ability to control the truck heading into that straight. Yeah, 34.01. Again, one of those average times, no negative context there. Average time to fit in with the main field that we've seen all throughout qualifying tonight. Junkyard Dog is going to be kicking off the semifinals, taking on Skeledragon, a wild race there. And then a classic race here again with the classics, El Toro taking on Medusa.
These top four are going to be gunning for those top two spots. All these drivers have been doing such a great job today with this last chance qualifier. All of them want to get a shot into the main field. Pablo Huffaker and Junkyard Dog, he's got my vote, man. He's been consistent all day. I don't know. Maybe it's the backwards front tires. Who knows what it is. But Pablo has been on kill, but Cody's not going to give it to him easily.
Absolutely. We saw him again, the first sub to take a racing championship ever on this channel, and that was in season 1. He made it up into the World Finals main field with that performance. He wants to bring it there again, and with that low center of gravity, he really could do it. He needs to hold it together in the turns. The big thing that's been taking a lot of drivers out tonight.
Very consistent, very smooth, like you said, Dawson. This is a good race so far. Junkyard Dog holding out. Cody with a nice turn here. Oh, hang on, keep the power down. This is going to be another clean, close race here into the final turn.
Around it we go. Out a little wide for Skeledragon. Not as close as we've seen some of these races, but still close. That is a 33.43, and Junkyard Dog, you called it, on to the final round tonight, getting a shot at that main field qualifier spot. Only one spot left in the final round. Will it be El Toro or Medusa? We'll find out in just a second here as El Toro, Armando Castro, coming out on your left, taking on Medusa in that Medusa truck on your right. You know, Armando, one of the fastest times we've seen tonight with that 33.24, dead matched with Medusa and one of her passes tonight. I honestly, with that and with the consistency that we've seen from Medusa, she threw down a great pass last time. I don't know. This is really up in the air for me, and I'm really just excited to watch it happen. Relatively clean from both of them.
Yeah, both drivers are having a really good pass here. Again, I think this is going to be another tight race. It's all coming down to this final turn. Maybe a slight advantage to El Toro, but let's see.
Yeah, and another really great pass from Armando, a 33.36. Again, not the fastest we've seen all night, but a great pass that would put up a fight with the main field. And heading into the final round, it's Pablo, a really great racer, taking on Armando Castro, who's proving tonight to be a really great racer. Again, for me, it's up in the air, and it's just another race that I want to see happen, and I'm excited either way we go. Pablo for the legendary status, Armando to have a young gun heading into the main field. How you feeling, Dawson?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Armando, he's won almost every race today in the latter half, like you said. He has to pick up that first half, and he's going to have to do it flawlessly because Pablo is not going to give it to him easy. Let's see what we got here. Let's see who's going to join the main field.
Oh. Yeah, Pablo having a really sloppy first half here, really squirrely all over it, really, and a wide turn there. I think that pressure is getting to him again, falling victim to that final round curse that he cannot shake. Armando Castro and El Toro Loco with a 34.32 is heading to your main field, your last chance qualifier here in Sam Boyd Stadium. Armando Castro, El Toro Loco.
What a race, man. That was incredible. And you're right. And like we've been saying all night, throughout qualifying is one mistake and then you are out and you're going to the trailers, and that's exactly where Pablo's headed right now. And Armando, he's getting ready to go to the main field, and I can't wait to see him tomorrow night when it comes down to racing, to see what he can pull off, and maybe he's going to take himself a very first world title in racing.
Last season, the El Toro truck did not do well. He was a main field competitor in the regular season. The truck just did not work out well with the tracks that he was given, the driving style of the driver. This season, El Toro came out as a substitute, threw down a solid performance, enough to get him here in the last chance qualifier, and he burns it down in the racing competition, earning that spot for a world title potentially tonight and the following night in racing and freestyle. And with him locked in, we can get a look at our official qualifying leaderboard here. Son of a Digger still does hold the top spot with that 33.20, but Armando ends up in second with that 33.24. So our updated 1 through 8 is Son of a Digger, El Toro, Dragon, Soldier Fortune, Black Ops, Gravedigger Thunder, Jailbird, Full Bore, and Bro Camino. That is going to close out our top 8 with some really fast times and some close ones. Surprisingly, top 3 all in the 33.20s.
I love to see that fact that Ed Eckert is in the top 8. That is incredible. Full Bore was on kill during his qualifying, and as you're looking to hear that 9 through 16, of course, yourself, Dawson, finishing right up there with the 34.03. You have heavy hitters like Blown Money who had some mistakes but still had a pretty decent time, and when you look at all these qualifying times, guys, they are all very, very close to each other, which only tells me one thing. Tomorrow night when we come back for racing, we are going to have to go to the replays more often than not, because it is going to be tight, close finishes every single time.
Oh yeah, and unfortunately, the slowest pass from tonight did come from a Gravedigger truck. Aiden Wegner in Gravedigger had that rough pass in the first round of qualifying, came back with an improvement, definitely, but not the way he wanted to go out. We'll see if he can work up a little higher up into the bracket tomorrow night. But, with our last chance qualifier now in the books, we can get a look at our first look at the official racing bracket for tomorrow night, and this thing is looking great. Dawson, you're kicking us off here, taking on EJ Hayden, our very own Mr. Consistent in Blue Thunder. What are you feeling as a driver in the World Finals heading into tomorrow night's competition? Absolutely. Very well said. I mean, that's really all you can do. Get into it. I've had some competitions in my life where it's time to go, and that's it. You know what I mean? And I can definitely see being in the World Finals. It's here. It's time to go. That is the headspace that you're in, and I can very much respect it and appreciate it. Tonight has been great. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want more from me. Racing is coming tomorrow. Freestyle on Sunday. Do not miss it. It is going to be an insane 2 nights of competition. Tonight was a lot of fun. The weekend will continue with that same level of insanity. And, follow the RORSRPS Instagram for some pit party pictures from the event. Get the first look at some of these custom schemes that we got here for the World Finals that are going to be making their debut in the pit party. Also, be sure to check out our channel partner, W Energy, and you can get 10% off using code RORSRPS at checkout. They have some absolutely delicious flavors. My flavor of the day is Beach and Peach. That is a mango white peach cooler flavor. It is absolutely delicious. It is my number 2, and it works every single time. No jitters, no crash, no artificial dyes, no sugars, no calories. Makes them the health conscious choice when it comes to energy powders. And like I said, guys, try anything. Well, not anything. Try a lot of stuff once. You'll find some stuff that you really like and you can stick with. W is definitely one of those things for me. And I'll be getting some more from them and potentially be sending out another review of some new flavors soon. Thank you guys one more time for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of qualifying and Last Chance Qualifier. Remember, racing tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Do not miss it. I will see you there. Thanks again. Good night.